What happened was...
Hey friends, it's so nice to see you. It's today, the time is now. You are here and the weather is outside your window.
Today's guest is currently starring as Nefertiti in the Philip Glass opera Akhenaten at the Metropolitan Opera. Please welcome my friend Rihab Chaieb. Well, hello, Queen.
Hello, darling.
How are you?
I'm good. After our dress rehearsal, it feels
Yes, it was a wonderful final dress rehearsal with like 1,000 school kids.
I know. It was so cool because they reacted to things that I would not necessarily, like the kiss.
Yeah.
They all went like, ew.
I love it. I love that stuff. That's like my favorite audience always is the school audience and
Yeah,
that
they were so
energy.
receptive.
Yeah. Well, this is like very typical of Team Akhenaten that we're here on our day off talking to each other.
It is a family and it is a cult. Like people have literally come up to me saying, "Is this a cult?" And I'm like, "Yes, it is." And I'm so full Team Akhenaten cult.
And membership is closed. You can't join to the outsiders. Yeah, it's funny. So for those watching our show Akhenaten, which is now in its 5th production, its 2nd showing at the Metropolitan Opera, has a very family atmosphere to it. We're all friends and tend to really vibe, and we talk, we text around the clock and talk on our days off and hang out on our days off. So there's something very special about this group of people that the show.
Yeah, I think I was actually the last one texting yesterday at like 1 a.m.
Yeah.
And then, was it you at 7 in the morning?
Yeah, I woke up and I missed you all, so I said good morning.
It's like 24 hours, 24/7. I love that.
Well, you're such a wonderful addition to the show, and it's so great to meet you. And you're my newest friend in my life right now. So
I agree. Yours too. Like you are in my life too, and
love it.
I mean, of course, I've heard of you, I've seen you, but we don't really have necessarily the same kind of path, And so
yeah. Well, you've been on kind of from an outside perspective. You've been on what's considered like a traditional opera path, right? You like get your master's and then you do young artist programs, and you were in the Lindemann Young Artist Program at the Metropolitan Opera, which is often a springboard for many opera singers' careers. Was that the case for you?
Yeah, definitely. Actually, I don't even have my master. I just did my bachelor. Then I went to Toronto. I know. But to be fair, I have another math degree before my music degree. So,
what's your other degree?
Math.
Stop. Math?
Yeah, and I quit my math degree like 3 months before graduating. I was like, this is over. I want to do music. If I don't do music now, I'm just never going to do it. So I quit, and then, but I guess it's for a good reason because I'm here.
Yeah. Well, I have to ask you because so many people say this, and I adamantly disagree because my brain doesn't work with math. But do you see math and music in the same way? Because a lot of people say if you're good at math, you're good at music.
Well, yeah, I think that music is like beautiful math. It's like a succession of notes together equals a beautiful sound, right? And so I do agree because you have that analytical mind as well that makes just everything kind of fits together, And I feel also as a studying math, it just like rhythm makes sense. Just certain things do make sense. The subdivision of certain things makes sense. The succession of chord makes sense. I don't know. A lot of people do say that, and I can't really pinpoint exactly why, but it does. It feels easy. Like when I have to learn a new piece, I kind of mathematically just kind of like cut it into chunks, and then each chunks has a perfect little bars and
right.
Yeah, and everything's four and just
I'm remembering now being in rehearsal with you, and as you're preparing to go on for one of your scenes, you had like a little chart. Yeah, and now it's like, of course, that's math.
Well, yeah, and it's just like it's subdivision for this much of time, and so now I just know that there's the counting and there's each note is there for, 2 beats, 3 beats, and even if it's different words or it's different length, underneath is the same.
Yeah, fascinating. I would say I don't see things in that way, and sometimes it gets me in trouble. And I was actually a percussion major when I first went to college, but I was really challenged with rhythm, in the same way that I was challenged with math. So
So
didn't
when
really,
you have to learn all of this dialogue and monologue that it's a lot. It's a lot
yeah.
of monologue that you're out there. How do you memorize? Like, don't you memorize like in, let's say, Alexandrin, or like in a certain? Don't you have like a system, like a mathematical
I
system?
memorize more like storytelling and like colors, like, oh, this is the story about this, and this section feels orange to me. That's it's very
I
it's
love
very
that.
like, yeah, it's different, but
Yeah.
that's the cool thing is everyone has their own process for learning and memorization, and that's really special. But I've always wanted to talk to someone about this math versus music thing, and you are unknowingly to me the perfect candidate for this discussion.
Well, I do. I mean, if you look at a score, it's just equations. It's just
Yeah,
equations, but then together they make a beautiful sound. And then you take off like you take off half a note, and then all of a sudden you have a minor piece. And
right,
it's just
right.
it's all depending on how everything fits together.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's when I tell people that are not in music, and they're like, well, yeah, but how math is linked to that, and it's just a succession of different chords that will make you feel a certain way.
yeah. Wow. Let me also ask you this. To me, your speaking voice is one of the most beautiful things I've ever heard, and your dialect, it's just like
Really?
golden. Oh my God, it's too much for my heart. But
Oh,
I
cool.
don't know exactly what it is. Tell me about your story.
So yeah, I mean, I've English came into my life more or less around 2010.
Oh my goodness. So
Mhm.
is it a second language or a third or fourth or fifth
Third,
or
third,
third? Okay, so what were the first two?
French and Arabic.
Wow.
So born in Tunisia, which is North Africa. It's a
Yeah,
big country, but Tunisia was colonized by France. So
right.
actually, the two official languages are Arabic and French.
Like,
So when my parents emigrated in the you know late 80s to Canada, actually
wow.
my father was recruited by a French Canadian architectural firm to go to Montreal, and it was kind of just a normal transition to go
Wow.
to a French-speaking country or French-speaking province.
Sure.
But once I was in Montreal, I had absolutely no need for English, because most of my life, all my movies were in French. I mean, we learned English at school, but it wasn't like, it's like when people in the rest of Canada learn French, nobody can actually speak French. They're like, bonjour.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. But I was like, hello, my name is Rihab Chaieb, and I am from Montreal, with this big, like, thick Quebecois accent.
Yeah.
And then I went to McGill to do my bachelor in vocal performance. And actually, a bachelor in McGill is 3 years, but I didn't speak a word of English. So I
Wow.
did it in 4 years. But what actually saved me is that in Montreal, in McGill, actually in the full university, you can either hand in your papers, and you can do all of your exams bilingual, and you can choose your language.
Wow.
And
Wow.
that saved me, because even though the classes were in English, I could not the speaking part was just too much for me. So and the writing part. So I wrote every. I could understand English, but speaking it and writing it was just another
Right.
world. So I hand in all of my papers in French, and I would ask all of my exams for me to be given in French.
Wow.
Then in 2010, I went to Toronto for the Young Artists there at the Canadian Opera Company, and that was another story, because then Toronto was just everything in French,
Right.
English, and that was so overwhelming.
I
It was
bet.
very, very overwhelming,
Wow.
because you know, it wasn't just like school or a part of your life, like all of your life, like your
Mm,
friendship, your social life, your banking, your everything was just in English. And
yeah,
I remember just getting these like headaches at the end of the day.
I bet.
Um, but then I had a boyfriend, you know, and then once you like an Anglophone boyfriend, which I haven't
Yeah,
had until then, and so
that helps. Yeah.
that helped. You know, if you want to learn a language, just get a
Yeah.
boyfriend in that language.
I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah, but it does work, and it speeds up the process.
Yeah. Wow.
And
Wow.
so yeah, it's a kind of a mix of French, Arabic, English. When
Fabulous.
people say I have an accent, I don't hear it. For me, I
It's
have like, no accent.
it's so melodious and perfect, and just like I could listen to it all day. So I had to bring it up, and now I'm blushing. But uh, so, what do you speak with your family? If you're just with your family,
For Arabic,
nice.
Franco-Arabe, which is like it can go this way. It could be Allô, ما لبش نحوالك. Aujourd'hui, ce soir, j'aimerais manger couscous بالدجاج. Qu'est-ce que t'en penses?
Oh,
It's like it's like
yeah,
in Montreal and in like Ottawa, which is between Montreal and Toronto, we have Franglish,
yeah,
where it could go like, "Hey Renee, how's it going? Je vais prendre le bus à 8 heures. Do you want to come with me? We'll grab a coffee and you know."
sure.
It,
Well, that's much like many opera rehearsal rooms, especially at the Met, where you have so
yeah,
many international artists.
you're
Even on
right.
our show, one of our stage managers speaks French fluently. Sean Gandini, our choreographer, as well. So there's often this mix of languages, and I
Yeah,
actually see that. Do you see this that I'm seeing in movies a lot now? Movies and TV, it's like multi-language without titles, which I think is really wonderful.
I
Um,
agree. I
yeah.
agree how they seamlessly go from one language to the other.
Yes, it's really quite fabulous. I watched the movie Everything Everywhere All at Once recently, and that was a great example of seamless language transition. And it was just like, yes, this is
The
our world.
languages.
Fabulous. Yeah.
What were the languages?
What were they?
Yeah, the languages that they were.
I don't know. I'll get back to you on that.
Okay, I want to watch it. I want
it
to watch
was it was highly recommended. Yeah. But it was a fabulous film, and but it was one of those experiences at the top. I was like, oh wow, this isn't in English. Okay, I'll be reading, and like instantly switched over, and it was like, you know, so
it. Yeah.
it's really cool. But
But
um
going well in Europe, like you have so many instances of you know,
yeah,
just
yeah.
ugh,
Well, I can't tell you how many times I've used my very limited Spanish with Italians and then been very embarrassed. And they're, of course, great about it, but I just want to run and hide. So,
oh, but you know, we all do when we're trying a new language, but I cannot tell you enough that people on the other side appreciate it when you're
yeah,
trying, you know.
yeah. I desperately wish I spoke everything. But, growing up in the United States, it's just not a priority, unfortunately. And I think
Oh, you're
that's
like
the for
25. You have like time, no? You're
how,
like
how old am I?
you're 25 years old. You have so much time.
Oh, that's right. Yes, I'm 25. Thank you. Yes, that is correct.
Good time in the world.
Yes, yes. When would I have been born? What, like 1993, 5, 7? Yes, that's right. We'll go with that.
Oh, the other day, wait, I have to tell you something. The other day, it was like there was a story on Instagram, and some girl was like, "Excuse me, if you're born in the 1900s, you cannot talk to me like this." And I'm like, "Oh my God!" Like, like people who are born 2000 are 22.
Yeah, no, that is
We're
correct.
born in the 1900s.
Yeah, we were. Well, alas. Um, so you work all over the world as an opera singer. Do you find yourself speaking French in rehearsal rooms often, depending on where you are?
Yeah. I mean, it's mainly in English, you know.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
because even if you are in France, like for example, last time I was in France, we were doing Rigoletto, but the the mostly all the lead roles were not French, so you have to go in English. And actually, it was really funny because the main the Rigoletto spoke English, but not that great. He lives in Bologna. He's Albanian, living in Bologna, so he really spoke Italian.
Hmm.
So it was this mix of like French Italian with English, and it was just like and then the director looking to me for like translation from French to English, and then
Oh,
English to Italian. But I just love that. I just love that because it's just so. It's so
Mhm.
exciting. Like, where in the world, in what context do you have that? Do you have
Right.
all these people just from different backgrounds, different languages, different, and making our own language, really.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Mashing it in one blob,
Yeah. That's really
one
beautiful.
linguistic blob of, and we all understand each other. At the end of the day, we all get it.
Yeah, yeah, that's really beautiful. I haven't thought about it until this moment, but I have so many friends all over the world, and it's because of opera, because it's truly like a global community. People from all over do this weird art form, but it,
The other day I just realized, I was like, wait a second, where's my tribe? Like, we talk a lot about your tribe, your true friends, like your pack, whatever. And
yeah,
there's not one place. Mine are scattered everywhere
of
around the
course.
world, and
Yeah,
sometimes it feels lonely because of that, because it's like, oh, like I need like the energy of that particular person, but
yeah,
that particular person is like 6 hours behind me, and I'm 3 hours behind that other person, and I'm 9 hours ahead of the, you know. But
right.
at the end of the day, like, I'm here in New York, and it's just such a joy to come back here because it feels like I'm coming back home. But a lot of places I feel like this. I
Yeah.
feel like, oh my God, I feel like home here
Oh, for
because the
yeah,
people you meet and the friends you make that are just, scattered around the world, and
yeah, yeah.
it's
I
different kind
totally
of
hear you.
friendship. It's not like it's not like the Sex in the City, like gal pal,
No,
shopping, but it's, I don't know. To me, it's like an elevated kind of friendship that even though you spend months, sometimes years without seeing each other,
sure. Yeah,
we have,
absolutely.
we have
Yeah.
that connection.
Yeah. Well, the key to having friends all over the world and not getting lonely is you have to have friends that are 6 hours behind and 6 hours ahead. So
Yeah.
no matter what time of day it is, you have someone to talk to.
So interesting enough, I do that every day, more or less every day when I walk my dog. So I usually have like that, that hour before
Yeah.
9 a.m. So before
You're
9.
up early. You're up very early.
Well, I mean, I have to because this little beast.
Yeah.
But before 9 a.m. in Central Park is like off leash day, and so that hour I call my friends in Europe because they're 6 hours ahead. So I catch up with
Right.
them, and at night I call my friends either in the West Coast or here.
Yeah.
So I always have someone to talk to when I
Yeah.
go to these walks.
I love that too. And yeah, London is one of those for me where I just feel very at home there and I spend so much time there. And it's really nice to, stay connected there and truly feel at home. It's
So
something very
because you've
special.
done the original production at ENO, right?
Yeah, I've been to ENO with Akhenaten twice, another Philip Glass opera as well, and yeah, so very
Which
special.
opera?
The Perfect American. It was actually how I got into opera. When after doing Broadway, I got into opera through this Philip Glass opera, The Perfect American, directed by Phelan, and I played a animatronic Abraham Lincoln robot.
Okay, I really need to see this like right
Yeah,
now.
it's like the doll Zarya in Tales
Oh,
of Virginia. Yeah, it was
yeah, yeah.
cool. It was super cool.
But like
Yeah,
six.
yeah. Well, there are two questions I ask all my guests. So
Okay.
before I let you go have a proper day off before our big opening, I want to ask you first, if you could go back in time to any moment in your life and tell your younger self in that moment one thing, what would it be?
Oh, this is a hard one. Oh my God. See, this feels like we need like our like meetings, our circle.
Yes.
Like I need my family, like with my bottle of Purell to talk about it.
Yeah. For those watching, when we start rehearsal each day for Akhenaten, we sit in a circle and we pass around a bottle of hand sanitizer, and whoever has the hand sanitizer has the right to speak in that moment, and everyone else is quiet.
But honestly, that's what makes it cult-like because
Yes.
it makes us a family. It feels like we're opening up. I mean, I've cried a few times, and like,
Yeah, for sure.
what I would say to my younger self, I mean, so many things, so many things, but oh, so I think the biggest one, I think it would be you're enough.
Mm.
You're enough. you are.
Yes. Gorgeous.
Um, I think we did talk about that in one of our meetings, is that
Good. Yeah.
it comes because it's a leitmotif in my life where I always feel, and I probably will continue to feel, that I'm not enough. Like this version of me is just not enough for the world, or it's not enough for opera, or it's not enough for, but actually, it's a, how do you call this? It's something you have to put in yourself. It's like a workout. It's like you have to put that in your head, and I think it's so important to do when they're children, when you're young, because life will bring doubt, life will bring imposter syndrome, life will bring so many things that will make you doubt yourself and reconsider whether you're doing the right thing or not. But I wish that I had a bit more self-confidence as a child.
Sure.
And feel that I'm enough, like my natural me, my natural hair, my natural voice. I was the one who was very like curious, so I asked a lot of questions to the point where it bothered people, and sometimes I have had moments in my adult life where people got bothered by me asking questions, and it's not because I'm trying to get information. I'm literally just genuinely interested.
Yeah.
But just that voice, that little girl, that her voice is enough, and what she is, and how she's doing it is good. So
Absolutely. Well, the final question is, what is the meaning of life?
The sun disk. It's just
A Akhenaten joke for those of you not in the cult.
what's the meaning of life? It's connection.
Yeah.
Connectivity, like either material connection, spiritual connection. We all do this. I just gave a voice lesson today, and I was like, why do we do this? Because my student was like very much trying to, like, she was kind of like keeping her voice to herself. I'm like, why are you paying me? Or why are you paying anybody to give your voice to you? Right? It's like, no, give it, because your voice is not for you. Your voice is for me. It's for you. It's for them. It's for us to connect, to feel like we have lived the same thing. We're all in this universal boat together.
Yeah.
And we started the same, and guess what? We're all gonna end the same, which is beautiful. But it's connection with our ancestors, which is the video I'm gonna do, connection to our future, to the future generation. But to us right now, the most important thing in life is the connection with the present, with who we are talking right now, not who we might talk later, or not who being distracted by, it's the connection of us, of humanity, whether we are in the world, whether our social status, if we are in a country that has war. It's just connecting to each other.
Well, as always, it was so great to connect with you today, and thank you for coming on. And just wishing you such a wonderful debut with this role on Thursday, and I can't wait to watch you shine.
Thank you. I love you. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely.
That's all for today's episode. Puppies and rainbows till we meet again.